good evening. This evening is going to be rather unusual. We usually have the Rector's reflection or the Rector's message on the Thursday evening, but it feels as if we really need to start including so many other people's experience, intuition, and knowings that have arisen during this interestingly extraordinary time. So thank you to Joan Homann, who's going to be our first fresh idea, and we hope is going to be a positive experience for everybody who's going to be listening and watching this, because we want to unpack a little bit of how we've been creative and what have been the positive things that we've learned about ourselves and so on. So please, may I invite anybody else who would like to be part of this every second week. We're going to do this. If you'd like to be part of it, please will you contact me and let me know, so that we can expand our horizons and gain new insight and inspiration from one another. So thank you, Joan, for being part of us, and thank you for gifting yourself in this newest form of experiment for the blessing of so many people. And if I may just invite Joan to come and take a seat.
Hello, everybody.
So Joan has come beautifully prepared, and as we engage in this, I think, Joan, maybe we can start by saying what was the most challenging thing for you during this lockdown period, which is still in a form of lockdown.
What has been challenging for me is I have a retarded brother, and so I have to go regularly to the hospital to get his pills, and I find that very challenging, exposing myself to all these wonderful people who are so patient, and I pray really very hard before I go, and I wash afterwards, but only recently did I acknowledge that actually I'm scared.
Okay. So what is the fear about for you?
The fear is to catch this virus. Although the people there are wonderful. They keep their distances, they don't push in, they don't complain, sometimes they sing hymns. So once I go there, it's quite an edifying experience. It certainly teaches me a lot.
Yes.
But just the fact of being out there.
Vulnerability. Yes. So how have you coped then when you have to go there? What have you done to help yourself just cope as you go through the process?
I've tried, what I have learned through all this lockdown is that one, give thanks in everything. And so it sounds so silly, but that's what I really do. I look and I think, well, because I really think what the hospital has done, what they've put in place is very good. I'm most impressed. They are careful, I am careful, the people around me are careful. And so I try and be positive, because if it happens, it happens. And we are protected with the masks and with all the washing, and everybody's masked. Everybody's scared. That was also an eye-opener for me, is how scared everybody is.
Okay. But you found that one of your coping mechanisms is gratitude.
It is. At the beginning of lockdown, I did an interactive online Bible study on Philippians, and I really enjoyed it. And what it taught me was that God is in control, and in everything there is a positive, and that we like there's a silver lining. And so we need to look for the positives, because God dwells in the midst of the praises of His people.
So do you consciously do it every morning, or? I
try and walk around and find something to be grateful for all the time. I can't say that I'm grateful for washing the dishes eternally, because everybody's at home, or doing the cooking and that sort of thing, but that I offer as a sacrifice of praise. But it's wearing a bit thin, you know.
Yes, it does wear a bit thin. And what sort of new hobbies or old hobbies that you had that really have been sidelined because of the busyness of life, what are the ones that you've reclaimed or rediscovered?
In the beginning of the lockdown, I felt as if I was wasting my time. And so I thought, okay, I'll start knitting on a calling letter. So I have been knitting ever bigger squares that poor Jenny's going to put together. I do paint. But even that, I think the stress and the monotony and not knowing what's happening sort of restricts one's ability, one's creativity, put it that way. But I did paint my
Oh,
so I wanted to show you.
Oh, that's beautiful.
But what I have done is, following on from this Bible study, I have discovered technology. And so I went online and I discovered a way of reading the Bible. And as a result of the Bible study, although this was not part of it, they gave us a thing called soap. I don't know if you've heard of it. Okay, I'll read it to you. But so what I do is, sorry, I didn't know. Sorry. It's called, you read the passage. It's a scripture. Then you observe what God is saying. Then you apply it to you, what you struggle with. And then you say prayer. And I found it magnificent. And so, I don't know if you can see, but I've done like little posters. And honestly, I love doing it. It has been my creative outlet, and because I'm thinking about it and thinking, what is the main point here? It's really focused me and helped me, and I love the colours. I really enjoy. I've enjoyed it incredibly.
So it sounds like it's also helped you to ground yourself by actually focusing on what is the passage about, how would I pray into it, how would I apply it.
Very much so.
And at the same time, it creates a sense of inner happiness because you're working with colours.
Yes, exactly. And that's another thing I wanted to say, was that I have discovered through all of this, I know it sounds incredible, but I have discovered the colours of God. I think before the lockdown, we were very busy. And so we were just living through life. And having to sit around and be there, I've been aware of colours so much, and of not necessarily the visual colours as well, just like the birds singing. And sorry, I wanted to play something to you, if that's okay with you. I don't know if you can hear it. It's a very old song by the Seekers, and it says, "Loving you has shown me colours of my life." And I'm very aware that it's only because of God that there are colours in my life.
So it's been a time of contrasts for you, monotony, as well as this deeper growing awareness. And what have you discovered about yourself that you have liked? That perhaps you didn't stop and pause. I know that's a difficult one because we always know what we don't like.
What have I discovered that I've liked?
You do know.
I've discovered, what did I like? That actually have a sense of humour.
It's gorgeous, Joan.
I wanted to tell you about my brother, who has smoked most of his life, and he does nothing else. And so when the ban on cigarettes came, he didn't understand. He thought I was withholding cigarettes, and he got, obviously, I don't even think it was withdrawal. I think it was just his routine. And he didn't understand it, and the matron started complaining that he was getting a bit irritable, and would I please buy some cigarettes for him? And so I never thought that I would be the one who entered into the black market, and it's really very cloak and daggerish. Fortunately, Jonathan, my son, does it, but you have to make the phone call and arrange to meet somewhere, and then you go all masked at dead of night in the car, and then you meet the person and make the arrangement for the drop-off. And then you go again, and then if you're lucky, He's always there, the person. But if you're lucky, he's got cigarettes. If you're not lucky, he hasn't been able to get them. And you know, I'm very grateful to my son for doing this because I am a bit of a scaredy cat. But I really never thought as a Christian particularly that this is what I would be involved in.
But it's helped your sense of to have a sense of humour
Oh,
in the midst of Joan, if you had to say one thing to everybody that really you want us all to carry it in our hearts as something to hold on to, what would be that one thing?
There are many blessings around. There is a lot to be grateful.
Yeah. Thank you, Joan.
Great
We
pleasure.
so enjoyed having you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a blessed week.